Right, and we are live. Hey everybody, I'm Stuart, and this is MLM for CEOs, the channel that is aimed at providing key insights to company owners operating within this lucrative multi-level marketing space. In today's episode, we've got a special one for you today. It's the hot seat with Mr. Richard Sletcher. And here to unpack this information is none other than Mr. Richard Sletcher. How's it going?
It's good. It's good.
Are you well?
Yeah, we're up and running in the new year. It's been quite good. A couple of sessions. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's been amazing. You've
Yeah.
switched from your Christmas outfit now.
Look, it took me a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was tough.
You kept on reminding me and I kept on forgetting. And,
But
yeah.
you look good.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Although it's a bit of a wet patch here. I spilled coffee all over myself this morning.
But you're only human,
Yeah.
you know. People wouldn't think so, but you are.
You think that you would tip the cup after it reaches your mouth.
It's a strange concept, I know.
And I decided to tip it before it got there.
How many years have you been drinking coffee though?
You would think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
even ask. Don't
Okay.
go there.
Well, let's get into this episode. I love this because obviously I work with you daily and we get to have all these chats and these conversations about the industry. But what makes it special is because it comes from a point of authority and credibility and history and experience. You've been through this. You've walked the road. You've learned a lot. There's been mistakes. There's been learnings and there's corrections. And I think that's what it's all about. So what I want to use this session today for is just going through a bit of who you are, a bit of what your history is from a traditional business perspective, because I know there's a lot of history there. And then what is your experience with MLM? This is what we're here for. And how are you now wanting to give back to this industry? So can we quickly just do a high level run through of your traditional background?
Well, I started off as an electronics engineer in the Defence Force. So I studied electronics and then fixed radios and stuff in the Defence Force. So I was there for 5 years, but my passion was music. So in the sort of very early 80s, I left the Defence Force and became a professional musician and toured for years. I mean, I played professionally for about 25 years. But I then started a big recording studio in Johannesburg, which did like everything from movie music through to advertising and bands and stuff. That then became an ad agency, which grew. It's still going today, Ad Makers. It's become a very big ad agency specializing in property. We then, during that time, we started a small courier company called Burco, which went on to be a massive operation, which was bought out by, what is this?
Aramex.
Aramex, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I got into pneumatic conveying systems. We had a company that sold vacuum cleaners and that stuff. So there's been a whole range of different businesses. And in the late 90s, I decided to become a software developer because I reckoned that the way to make money is you write something once and you sell it many times. So I went back to school, studied computer software development, became, after 3 years, was able to code, and then started NetReady. And the idea was to build a system in the MLM space that would allow companies to trade. Because I figured that a company could plug a product into the system, plug their people in, we would manage all of the sort of the commissions and that, and they could just get on with their business.
Sure.
Yeah, so I did that. That was a bit of a disaster, to be quite honest with you. Because we couldn't find people to give the software to.
Yeah.
I went out and showed people. They didn't even want it for nothing.
Yeah, really.
It was a stuff up. And I think the main reason is that if you come at any project from the point of view of, like, for example, if you don't understand the industry and you come at it from a software development point of view, you have no real insight into what the industry actually needs.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
So we developed the software with all the stuff we thought we needed.
Yeah.
And when we went and saw the clients, they were kind of, no. I mean, at the time also there was a huge catastrophe in South Africa about pyramid selling and there'd been a couple of big companies who'd gone under and big networks that had collapsed because they were doing illegal things. And so that didn't help my cause.
Sure.
I started a little company called Acorn Kids. And the idea was to really learn the industry from the inside out. You know, obviously we needed to, because I'd spent all of my money developing the software, but I figured that we could use the software to run an MLM company and actually see what the industry was about. So we ran that for a number of years, very successfully. That actually led us to build the software in a totally different way. You know, we started realizing all of the key areas that you needed to make the software work.
Sure.
And so we did that for a few years. Then somebody made me an offer I couldn't understand.
Yeah.
And I figure if you can't understand the offer, it's definitely time to sell the business.
Yeah.
So we sold Acorn Kids and just focused on NetReady. And we've been doing that for 22 years now. So we've been around the block. During that time, I realized that there's a lot of people who want to get into the space, but actually don't understand the industry. They don't understand the industry. They don't understand the business. It's just a bit like what I was doing when I started writing the software. What they do is they look at the industry from the outside in, and they look at companies that have gone and developed 500,000 people in their network, and they do a little calculation that says if each of them are selling just 500 rands, then we're doing a bazillion rand in turnover, and they want to get into the business, but they don't actually have any real insight into how this industry works. You know, they've done none of the learnings. I've obviously, because I've been doing this for so long, I've made a ton of mistakes. And I've realized just how difficult this industry is. This is not simple.
Yeah.
People see the network and think that that's the industry. But what it has is, in actual fact, is you've got the entire business component. So you've got logistics, you've got your normal business practices, you've got your accounting, you've got supply chains, you've got all of that stuff to deal with, and then you've got to run a network. So it's like running two massive organizations.
Sure.
With a whole pile of different verticals and a whole pile of different skill sets that you need to bring into play. And I just realized that most company owners, most CEOs come at this without real insight into what the hell's going on in this industry.
I mean, I see that, Richard. I know a lot of clients that come to me and say, well, we've got these developers creating the software for me. I'm not happy with it. We're looking for someone who can offer a software, but that has insight into the industry. And I admire the fact that you went out there and you established your own business to learn all the complexities, all the intricacies about what makes this industry, this companies in this industry tick, because there are many. And if you can understand what the client wants and then build a solution for them, that's the perfect solution.
Well, it's not just understanding what the client wants. It's actually having been where the client is.
Sure.
Because I was there thinking, oh, gung-ho, I can start an MLM company. I mean, I know how to start businesses. I've run businesses before. Piece of cake, off I go. And then learning all of the things that can go wrong, everything that can go south, you know, and learning them the hard way.
Sure.
Now, so when we started MLM for CEOs, when I started it, the idea was to say, hey guys, look, this is a free service. I'm not charging for it. You don't have to use NetReady. You can use this information any way you like. But for the sake of the industry at large, what I wanted to do is create a body of work that people could tap into and get insight into how this industry works.
Sure.
You know, it's free. You go online, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. It would be great if everybody subscribes, because obviously the more subscribers we have, the more traction we get within YouTube. But all of this content is free. I don't know how many hours of content do we have at the moment.
I think we've got well over 60 hours.
Yeah. So this is all insights, not for network marketers. These are insights for CEOs of companies, guys who are wanting to start the business, who want to get into MLM as a route to market, and where there's a free resource where they can tap into as much content as they want to and learn all of the pitfalls, all of the things they should be concentrating on, how the industry actually works, and then apply that to their real world business. Obviously, if they want to use us, fantastic.
Sure.
Super happy to help them. They can get in touch with you. NetReady is an amazing software platform.
Yeah.
The best in the world by a long mile.
Yeah.
A long mile. But, you know, as I say, they can use any software they want. We are not,
Sure.
There's no prerogative for them to use ours.
Yeah.
You know, this is genuinely an attempt by me to help CEOs out there to make a success of their MLM businesses. and to avoid all of the catastrophes that, that I managed to experience on my journey.
Well, it's a whole. Let's not reinvent the wheel here, guys. You've been through all the learnings. You've made the mistakes, and you know the corrections, and now you're sharing that information.
Oh.
Now, what happens? Because I know that every business is unique, and all this information is about the industry. But there are some aspects that company owners, CEOs, just need a little bit more guidance on. The future of your role with MLM for CEOs. You're stepping into a consulting position.
Yeah.
So if company owners need further advice, need you to jump into their corner and guide them on setup, implementation, and running.
Yes.
That's the role you're stepping into for.
Yeah. So as you know, I've stepped away from NetReady as a company because you and Kirsten and the team are doing a brilliant job running that business.
Yeah.
So I want to step away from that and actually be more involved in the MLM for CEOs side of things, and more broadly involved in the MLM industry, consulting. Conceptually, from a conceptual point of view, I'm still studying the industry. I'm reading every book I can get my hand on. Any new books that come on, I dive on them and read them to see what the new trends are, what's happening. Obviously, as you know, we interview CEOs of MLM companies to try and find out how the industry is going, how they're doing things, what is special about their businesses. Yep. So I'm trying to keep my fingers on the pulse, but then trying to make myself available to companies to either use us for consulting or, as I said, the information is free.
Sure.
So, if people don't want to have me as a consultant, that's fine. The information is there. They can grab it online and off they go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And there's news of a book.
Yeah, so I'm writing a book.
Okay.
That's a labor of love, I have to just say.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
Yeah, so I'm about 20,000 words in.
Yeah.
And so I'm about a third of the way through it. Well, more or less, quarter of the way through it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be about 120,000 words.
Wow.
So it's going to be a tome, but I'm tackling every single aspect of the MLM space there. And I think that is something, I don't want it to just be a book.
Yeah.
What I want it to be is a user manual.
Sure.
So a manual that you can take and that you can actually work through and actually apply. Everything in the book needs to have live world applications, deciding on what compensation plan you have. I want to have those compensation elements and teach people how to put them together in such a way that they will reward the behavior you're trying to drive. Mm-hmm. So that's a prime example. Guys look at somebody else's comp plan and they just want to apply that.
Yeah.
Without any thought to why am I paying? What is this money that I'm paying out for? If they think of MLM as a way to give away their money, that's a disaster. And many companies come at it from that angle. So from the book point of view, what I'm trying to do is really establish a user manual that a company owner can grab and say, okay, let's go through this.
Yeah.
And work through each chapter and say, okay, how do I apply this in my business, and have worksheets and all of that kind of stuff.
Brilliant.
Templates for all of your documentation, templates for how you present your compensation plan. All of that stuff I want to make available in the MLM for CEOs back office.
There's not many resources out there that have that sort of in-depth insights, just have the information available. So I know you're pulling a lot from many different resources all across the internet, but to have this consolidated document, this book, this manual that you can just go through, and it's the A to Z on setting up, running, and managing your business. It's very powerful.
Yeah. Look, I think it's going to be huge in terms of company owners getting into the space. So I think that's going to be quite an exciting thing. Obviously, nobody else has done it, and the reason it's because there's such a small pool of people, of CEOs. I mean, we're targeting a pool of a minuscule pool of CEOs who are wanting to get into MLM. I mean, if you talk about a niche, this is such a sliver of a niche. But the thing is, for me, understand, if I can help one CEO to get into MLM, that could actually generate an income for hundreds of thousands of people.
Of course. Yeah.
So the impact that I'm having on the world is not that one CEO. When I look at it, that one CEO is the tip of the spear, because he goes out, he starts an MLM company. If it's successful, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 people could be putting food on the table and a roof over their head using multi-level marketing as a vehicle to move their product. And on top of it, it's an unbelievably lucrative way to move product.
Yeah.
If you get this right, MLM, as for CEOs, MLM is a license to print money. If you get this right, it is absolutely a license to print money. I mean, we've got a client of ours. I'm not going to mention his name because he'll kill me. But he came to me, and when he first came to me, they had a tiny little MLM company. They just got started. They were having real problems with their software. In their first year, we went from zero. No, sorry, not zero. They had 2,000 members to 117,000 members in 1 year. At the end of the year, he said to me, Richard, I used to have poor people's problems, and now I've got rich people's problems.
Right.
And he has absolutely made a fortune. But in the process, 117,000 people have earned a living, put a roof over their head and food on their table.
I love that, Richard.
And that's, for me, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So even if I don't make a cent from some CEO out there who takes this information for free and goes out and utilizes to start his business, the joy for me is knowing that he's actually gone out and changed the world. Even if it's for 10 people, he's changed the world. And if my book and this channel helps him do that, well, geez, happy days.
That's amazing.
I
love that. We're not going to see you around this office much longer. What are the plans?
So I'm heading to Europe.
Okay.
For a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm wanting an adventure. I've been short on adventure for the last few years, so I wanted adventure.
For sure.
But number two, I want to really push the MLM for CEOs thing. I want to push multi-level marketing in Europe as hard as possible. I think there's an opportunity there for me to connect with companies, to expose the industry in a first world environment. I think that I can add some value there.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's already exceptional MLM countries in Europe, guys like Germany and Spain, Turkey even. But I think with information that you can provide, you can grow this industry across Europe. So
exactly.
I'm super excited to see what you're going to be doing there. I'm obviously going to miss you terribly. The office is going to miss you.
Well, luckily, it's a few months. We're still here for a few months.
Yes. But
sorry, I'm walking away from my
really
microphone here. Yeah, I'm out of the door here. I mean, I'm here for
of course,
probably May.
Yeah. But I think just the idea of being at the office in the next 4 months, obviously we're connecting all day, every day on Zoom and WhatsApp and wherever else.
Well, you'll be interviewing me over Zoom or...
Yeah, and you're setting up a whole studio there. I'm super excited to be doing that. So, Richard, thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it. You've got an exceptional history. You're a complete authority in this space. It's been a pleasure to sit here and learn from you every day, and I know everyone out there is extracting that same value. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Stu.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Guys out there, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time dedicated to MLM for CEOs. Thank you to NetReady, our sponsors, for making this channel possible. Please follow us on all of our channels. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, and we're on LinkedIn. We'll see you next time. Cheers, bye. Thanks.